Hello and welcome back. It's me, Garrett. A little while ago, went to Sonic Boom on September 2nd, which featured an amazing amount of bands. Zurban, Pack AD, not Mother. They did not play that year. That was back in 2010 when I went. Yes. So for some pickups, not 30 Seconds to Mars, what the fuck am I thinking of? Gaslight Anthem. Not even close. Jesus Christ. And apparently Incubus was supposed to be there, but the guy came down with a strep throat or something like that. So everyone got extended set times, except for Linkin Park, which were fucking amazing. So we're in the beer, me and my brother Ryan. It was supposed to be a nice day, and then of course Alberta, wait 5 minutes, and weather turns to shit. So we wake up in the morning, and the fucking weather is just garbage. And when I say we wake up in the morning, I don't mean like a homo thing, of course. No homo. I mean that he shut up. He came over to my place the night before. We got drunk as shit, and we were intending on leaving at Sonic Boom early to be at the gates at 11:30 when they opened to catch Zurban on the bands. But I wake up in the morning and it's fucking raining. And I'm like, I don't want to go to a concert when it's raining, especially when it's outdoors. So, we sit around. I think we played The Walking Dead episode 3. Well, I played and he watched it. He gave a bit of his input, which I ignored graciously, but I took it into consideration. I argued with him. He's like, fuck that! And I'm like, not gonna fuck that. It was an awesome episode of Walking Dead, I have to say. Fucking wicked. But, so, we, instead of going at 11:30, we ended up wandering out to Sonic Boom at about 2:30. A couple hours later, caught a couple of the bands and shit like that. So we get there, we walk into the first beer garden we find, which is fucking dead and empty and like 2 kilometers away from the stage. Not literally, practically. And Derek and Cindy are texting me incessantly. They're like, where the fuck are you? Why aren't you here? Fucking, we're in the beer garden. We're by the Jägermeister stand. And we're like, we don't have a Jägermeister stand. Derek's like, we're by here, the Canadian Club one. And we're like, we don't have a Canadian. Apparently, we're in the wrong fucking beer gardens. Go figure on that. So we leave that beer garden, we walk to the other beer garden. We get in quickly because it wasn't that late yet. I remember when I was at Sonic Boom 10, I wanted somewhere to sit down to relax because I had been standing for 5 hours on end. And I looked at the beer garden line, and it was like a kilometer long. Not fucking exaggerating. Literally a fucking kilometer long. And I'm like, nope. And that's why I missed Weezer and Rise Against, because my back was fucking killing me. I needed to relax and sit down and fucking just get off my feet off that concrete for a second, away from that fucking trampled goddamn burger as well. That was fucking me up. Different story. So, we're all drinking in the beer gardens. Found Derek and Cindy and Paul and everybody. And, $8 a beer. Fucking ridiculously expensive. All there was tall boy cans of fucking, I want to say kokanee, but I know it wasn't kokanee. So I'm going to say kokanee. Big ass cans of kokanee. And so I polished back about 6 of those, and I was feeling pretty fucking good. And so, a couple things happen, drinking, this and that, a few bands come on, it's alright, and everything like that. And Silver Sun Pickups is playing their set. And Derek's like, I want to fucking totally watch Silver Sun Pickups. And of course, he has to go hit on his ex-girlfriend, who is also there, who is trying to be discreetly not completely obsessed with him. If that makes sense. And so we go to Pissers. There's a bunch of porta potties within there, and he takes off to a porta potty down at the end, and she like stands in front of me, and she's like, "Does he say bad things about me?" And I'm like, "No, he doesn't. He doesn't talk about you at all in a negative way." And she's like, this might sound weird, but I really want to get back together with him. I'm like, yeah, it'd sound weird if you didn't want to get back together with him. And luckily enough, by the grace of God himself, the guy tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, dude, there's open porta potty there. I'm like, yes! I ran in there, fucking took a giant piss, and then got out. Fucking Ryan's like, as soon as I pick up Subway, you stick with me, motherfucker. I'm like, whoa, okay. And so we're going through the crowd. We hit this one barrier of people, and dude's like, beyond this point, it's all the fucking crowd surfers, so watch your back. I'm like, yeah, whatever, you fuck. So we go. We're fucking sifting through. Excuse me, pardon me. Ryan, of course, is just fucking boom and trying to pounce his way through. Of course, he doesn't have the stock to do it. And I'm far too polite to do something like that. So we get about 10, 15 rows away from front stage and everything like that. Yeah, we were about 15 rows away from the stage as we were watching the Silver Sun pickup show, and fucking it was amazing. They fucking rang out these amazing tunes, and then of course the sun was setting in the background, and fucking dude, the lead singer, was like, that is fucking incredible. Turn around, took a couple pictures of the sunset. It was beautiful. It was majestic, I have to say. I really did enjoy it. And then usually when a set would end, everyone would disperse and, get drinks and food and everything like that, reposition themselves. But since Silver Sun Pickups were the last band before Linkin Park, nobody fucking moved. It was like everyone was Chinese statues. Not to be racist, just saying those fucking stone statues that have been standing around for 1,000 years. Everyone turned into those. No one was shifting from their spot. No one was deviating from where they were. Everyone had their fucking set position. Although that was an opportunity for Ryan, I suppose, to try to move up. So we moved up a couple more rows, everything like that. And so we finally settle on a location, and Ryan's kind of kitty corner to my left, and the stage is there, and I'm waiting. It's a half hour between the set. And I looked down to my left, just randomly, because something caught my eye. And there was this fucking girl standing there. 5 foot, fuck all. Like, tiny. She probably about 130 pounds soaking wet. Not even. I bet she was like 90 pounds soaking wet. She was absolutely scrawny. And I looked at her, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing up here? And she's like, I want to see the band. And I'm like, you're gonna die up here. And she's like, I really enjoy Linkin Park. I lost all my friends. They're somewhere else. I don't know where they are. And so I looked at Ryan, I'm like, Ryan, this girl's gonna die. He's like, holy shit. And he sees how small she is. He's like, you, get in front of me. And then I kind of moved closer to Ryan. And I was off on his shoulder. And then he's like, you sit here. Where it might be safe. And then there's another guy off to our right. He was not a stockier guy, but he's still a taller individual. He was around 6 feet. And his name was Jeff. He's like, I'll help too. He got recognized. He had that look of fear like, oh my god, I don't watch this girl get trampled to death when the fucking mosh pit starts. And so we all kind of create this triforce around this girl, protection. So then Linkin Park comes on. And the fucking crowd goes wild. Wild in such a sense that it's just fucking bodies and movement and power and force, everything like that. So the crowd moves right. Ryan fucking disappears to the left. Just swallowed up. As though he was being eaten by a fucking leviathan from the great deep of the sea. And then the crowd moves fucking left. And fucking Jeff disappears. He's just eaten, swollen into the depths of Hades. So there's me, and there's Rochelle was her name. And I'm like, holy shit. So I kind of put my arms on the side, square out on either side of her, just fucking stop the people trying, but it was just not effective. There was no stability whatsoever. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm like, I leaned in near her. I'm like, sorry, missus, I don't mean to intrude. And I fucking got in there, and I locked my arms like this, and I created a fucking protection barrier circle around her. I imagine it might not have been the most comfortable, perhaps. I don't know, having a somewhat larger, stockier individual trying to protect you from getting crushed to death by the crowds. Might be flattering, might be creepy, fuck whatever. Yeah, my main concern was that this little girl, like, there was a couple of times where she almost got trampled. I had to tighten my circle just to pick her up a little bit, and then I loosened it off so I wasn't trying to grab and touch her. I was trying to create a protective barrier around her. I was creating a protective barrier, which was, for a person like me who is extremely cautious of physical contact with other people, like, you know, it's not even like constant typical interactions like high fives and shit. Like I can't play fight with people because people get hurt when I play fight. As when I was working in the shop earlier this week, because my truck broke, the alternator went. It wasn't intentionally my fault. Actually, I don't think it was my fault whatsoever. But as we were working, I was working with a coworker, Lisa. She kept giving me shit. She's like, "You have to be more gentle, delicate. You have to be gentle." And I'm like, gentle does not work with me. It's not an intentional thing. It's not something I intentionally or try to do to be extremely forceful. It's just very delicate movements are difficult for people like me, and me included. So, I was going somewhere with this, and then I got drunk. Hold on, I'll see if I can figure it out during this drink. So the beauty of being in this fucking crowd is I'm trying to create this protection barrier around this tiny little girl who has absolutely no business being 10 rows from the fucking main stage. The mosh pit is like 5 feet off of us. It's insane. As soon as someone bounces in from the mosh pit into the major crowd, the crowd fucking has this massive percussion wave that goes through. And so I'm trying to bounce off the dude hitting here as my body's getting hit from somebody else, as I'm hitting it into the next guy to me, as I'm bouncing off my other arm, trying to keep this girl from just getting beat to shit while she's in the fucking midst of this crowd. And so I'm having a fucking absolute blast with this. This was the funnest thing in the world. Not to mention I'm trying to protect an actually cute little girl. Although, when I said little girl, we were talking afterwards, she's actually a pharmacist in Warrenville. Sorry, it took me a moment there. Brain dead. And I was talking with my mother yesterday because she was in town, and my auntie was there. They're in town for my auntie's doctor's appointment, and they're mentioning how a cousin of mine was actually going to school for the last 6 years to become a pharmacist. So when I say little girl, even if you get out of high school at 18, you go into fucking university, you will not become a pharmacist until you're at least 24. I'm going off very rough math. Minimum. So this girl is roughly around my age, so I'm somewhat a little bit older than her. But that's alright. Sorry, gotta take care of something. There we go. And so, you know, she's tiny, but she's not young. Which means she's eligible. But that's not what I'm going for. I'm just doing my due diligence good deed of the day. I'll tell you about good deeds of the day another time. Oh my god. And so that was my Sonic Boom. Amazing time, wonderful set. It was. I was thinking the whole show. I'm like, you know, this girl has to be at a horrible disadvantage being at like 5 foot tall. So at the end of Linkin Park's set, practically, where they're like just acknowledging the crowd and everything like that, I put my head at the exact same level as her head. And all I could just see was like backs in the top stage lights. So I'm like, yeah, fuck this. Scooped up underneath her, picked her up on my shoulder, and she's like, oh, thank you very much. Took a couple pictures with her phone, and she was happy as hell. And she's like, oh, thank you. You're such a great protector. I'm like, well, doing my job.